Hey everyone, it's Desiree, and we are here with day 11 of the 2021 Christmas series. And for today's project, I'm going to feature a thinlit die set by Sizzix called the Poinsettia Fold A Long. This is actually going to make a card for you, just simply using a die. It is really adorable, and it fits into a standard A2 size envelope. So, I'm going to show you here, if you have a standard A2 size card base, you're going to take this main base die, line it up along the fold, and run it through your die cutting machine. When you do that, you're going to get the base of your card in one cut. Now you want to do this a couple times. So here's my base, and it's going to fold right in the center, and then you're going to fold along the sides and then fold the other side back. Use your paper creaser to reinforce your folds, and then once they're done, now we're going to fold back on itself, and you can see it'll match up to the design, and that's what you want to make sure. You will have a gap in between, but we're going to fill that in with some more cardstock, and that's the base of our card. So it's really a cute little card. I cut this from another type of cardstock so that I could have the base in the center, and that's what I'm looking for. Once I folded that, I'm going to use my scissors and just cut along those folds so that I can put this into that center piece. I'm going to use my liquid adhesive to adhere that. Now when I cut this, I did make sure I cut towards the inside of each of the folds so that it wouldn't bunch up in those creases, if that makes sense. And you can see I'm just making sure that the card lines up once again, reinforcing those folds. I then cut the side panels from different cardstock. I'm going to come in with my vintage photo and put that all around the edges, whether it's a fold on the insides and everywhere. Now I'm not worried about the outside because I'm going to cover those with cardstock. Once I have those in place, I'm going to also go around those with my vintage photo, and I'm going to adhere those using my liquid glue as well. Now I'm using that fold line that is embedded into that as a guide, but then I'm going to cut along that area that's folded. Again, just to get that difference for when this is closed upon itself. So it's like a gatefold, but more. I'm going to do the same thing to the other side, cut along that edge, and then just finish that up with some vintage photo to the inside as well. Now it comes with these extra pieces that you'll die cut, and I used a lighter color because you can see, as it's called, it's forming a poinsettia. So I'm going around all of these pieces with the vintage photo and also the leaves. For the leaves, I chose some bright greens so that they would really stand out, because when you put your vintage photo around them, it will just pull back that color. It won't be as bright. I chose a yellow for the center, and we'll be accenting this piece with some gems as well. I'm going to add just a little bit more color to those centers as well. I'm going to layer up that center piece, and then I'm just going to adhere glue down to the center because I do like it when the ends curl up. It just gives a little bit more dimension, and I'm going to come in with my paper creaser just to curve those pieces out. Again, adding that dimension and texture to the piece. If this is not something that you like to do in your card making, you certainly don't have to do that. It's just something that I enjoy. Going to add a little bit more vintage photo to those center petals. Again, just while they're the same cardstock, it gives them a different tone. And I'm going to set those in place using my liquid adhesive as well. So you can see as it closes, it's shifting those cardstocks. Some are up at the top and then the other side's down at the bottom, but it just gives it that look. We're going to work on the center, and the die set does come with these as well. So I used a cream and gray cardstock, and for the cream I just used an old makeup brush just to tone it down just a little bit to keep that vintage look. I'm using a peach style for the sentiment, and the sentiment is merry and bright, and I also cut that from ivory cardstock as well, and I'm going to offset that sentiment to help that stand out. I'm going to glue that onto the panel, and this is how we're going to cover up that center opening, that cutout that you can see there. Also in that cutout, there are tabs that will go to the top and the bottom. I'm going to go along each side just to glue that in place to make sure that it is secured. You don't have to do that, but I just want to make sure nothing shifts as I'm putting the card and if it should go into transit. I'm going to use my Beacon Kids Choice glue. It's a very thick glue and it's very fast grabbing. I really like to use this liquid adhesive when I'm doing this type of an application where I'm building layers and tucking items into each other, especially for my florals. It's fast grabbing and it is very thick so that it does add some dimension when it dries. I just added those leaves to each of the corners opposite from each other, and our card is pretty much completed. I'm going to add some gems to the center. I'm going to add some gold. These are gems that I got off of Amazon for other projects that I do. And then I'm going to add some greens to the center. 3 for the light green, and then I'll add a few to the darker ones. But again, this just gives it some shine. You could use a shimmer pen if you wanted to instead, if you don't have gems, just to give it a little bit of sparkle. This would be great too if you used some specialty cardstocks as well. This is also great to use some scraps when it comes to the leaves and the center part of the flower. But you do need to have that standard A2 size card base so that you can get the base started. And you can see just adding those gems just really makes that poinsettia pop. You can create a band if you'd like for this so it could stay closed, but it'll actually pop open once it's pulled out of the envelope. So I do hope you enjoyed day 11. Of our Christmas series here, again featuring Sizzix and one of their fold along cards. Remember, stay tuned for day 12. That'll be up tomorrow. All the products that I use, as long as they're still available, will be listed down below. Remember, dig into your stash. Use these techniques to create your cards for the holiday season. If you have any questions or comments, make sure you leave those down below, and I will make sure I get back to you as soon as I can. Enjoy, have fun, enjoy this process. It is fun to create our cards and to make something handmade to a gift to that special someone. But always remember what's most important. Always be creative. Till the next video, guys. Take care.